Good morning. It's Wednesday, August 13th. Here's what we're working on this morning. The Special Investigations Unit has been called in after a fatal shooting near Turkey Point Marina.
Air Canada's flight attendants serve notice they could go on strike as early as Saturday.
And the Blue Jays reach 70 wins with a win over the Cubs. You can hear all of Hamilton, Halton, Niagara, the GTA celebrating yesterday when the rain finally came.
It's like we haven't seen rain in ages because we haven't.
Oh, yeah, what a nice relief that was to see it come down. Not only for two reasons for me, is that, yay, we got some rain, everything's going to get dragged, and the forecast was right.
Yes. A double win.
Yeah, double win. Oh, I was on the link yesterday afternoon when that hit, and the traffic just stopped because it was just teeming down. I mean,
and were you in your car waving?
Yes.
That's me. That's me.
I was out the window going, yay! So yeah, we really had a downpour, some thunderstorms yesterday. We've had some thunderstorms overnight. We could get some more thunderstorms today. And yes, the heat warning is still in effect, but it's going to come to an end later on today as some cooler air starts to push in. Tomorrow's temperature is going to come down into the high 20s, about 28 tomorrow. But today, once again, 30, humidex about 38. Now, we did break a record yesterday. We got to 31.9 officially. The old record was 30 back in 2016. So the heat continues for the day today, but it should break for tomorrow. So we'll talk about that coming up. By the way, we're 20 degrees right now with a humidex of about 28. So, looking at traffic this morning, not a lot going on, not a lot to see. 403 and Waterdown Road area looks good. That's our exclusive camera. Nothing to see there. To our MTO traffic cameras, Middle Road, Stony Creek, again, looks good. South end of the Skyway Bridge, all the way through Brodie Road. Not a lot going on. So, we will keep you posted. We will look at weather and traffic as usual coming up in a few minutes. Right now, the news.
Thank you, Brian. Ontario's police watchdog is investigating a deadly shooting in Turkey Point. It happened yesterday afternoon at around 2 at McDonald Turkey Point Marina. A rep from the marina posted on social media that it involved a man on a Sea-Doo who, quote, came speeding in the channel, came to shore, and then fled on foot up the road. Here's OPP Sergeant Ed Sanchuk with what details he can give, given that the Special Investigations Unit is now in charge of the case.
Members of the Norfolk County Marine Unit of the Ontario Mounted Police attempted to stop a boater who entered the marina and fled on foot. Officers with the OPP Emergency Response Team and the K-9 unit located the individual. During the interaction, police discharged their firearm. The individual was pronounced deceased. As the SIU has invoked its mandate, the OPP will not be able to provide further information.
The identity of the person who died has not been released.
Flight attendants with Air Canada have given the airline a 72-hour strike notice. That means they could walk off the job as early as Saturday morning. Simone Gavros is standing by at Toronto's Pearson Airport with more on what to expect.
Annette, the union served their notice at 1 a.m. this morning, and this means that it's going to affect travelers on Saturday when the flight attendants can walk off the job at that point in the morning. Now, the Air Canada component of CUPE released this email that they sent to their employer this morning saying, quote, regrettably, the company ceased to engage in meaningful dialogue on these critical issues, leaving us with no choice but to move forward in a manner that may impact the travel plans and long-anticipated vacations of the public. Now, 30 minutes after giving this notice, CUPE says Air Canada issued a lockout notice to avoid leaving customers in, quote, daily uncertainty under the indefinite risk of a CUPE work stoppage. The union and Air Canada have been negotiating a new contract since March with some of the biggest issues over wages and unpaid hours. Air Canada says its offer includes a 38% wage increase over 4 years. The airline said yesterday prior to the notice that a work stoppage would affect about 130,000 customers who fly with Air Canada and Air Canada Rouge on a daily basis. Those who fly with Jazz or PAL Airlines will not be affected. Now, if there are flight cancellations due to this strike, which there likely will be on Saturday, it will notify customers via email and text message before their travel, and they will be eligible for a full refund. Now, I did reach out to Air Canada, the union, as well as Pearson Airport this morning for more reaction on the strike notice, but also be talking to passengers today about those concerns as well. For now, things back over to you, Annette.
Okay, thanks very much.
We'll get to Annette in a second. Thank you, Simone. Firefighters in Halifax have been working through the night to battle a blaze that broke out Tuesday in woodlands on the city's western edge. The Department of Natural Resources says the fire near the Bayers Lake Business Park had grown to 25 to 30 hectares. It says the fire is burning out of control, but crews are making progress. And Halifax officials say no structures are threatened at this time. Now, much of Atlantic Canada has been gripped by unusually hot and dry weather this summer, stoking the conditions for extreme wildfire risk. 4 out-of-control fires are burning across Newfoundland and Labrador, sending thousands to evacuate or prepare to evacuate from their homes. In New Brunswick, firefighters are battling 2 out-of-control wildfires, with residents north of Moncton told to prepare for evacuation. Agriculture Canada says 56% of Atlantic Canada has been classified as abnormally dry, with 90% of Nova Scotia in a moderate drought.
Closer to home, Burlington has joined the list of communities implementing a burn ban because of hot and dry conditions. So this ban covers all of Burlington, and it includes properties with approved burn permits. Fire officials say fire tables or bowls or other outdoor burning devices that use propane or natural gas as fuel are okay, though. Hamilton has also announced a ban on open-air burning. It includes campfires, fire pits, backyard wood burning appliances, clean wood, brush, and controlled grass fires. And in Niagara region, both Niagara Falls and Fort Erie have issued fire bans. The Falls fire chief blames extremely dry conditions across the province. There are 70 wildfires now burning in Ontario. The use of fireworks in the Falls is also prohibited. Fort Erie's ban covers campfires, outdoor fireplaces, and campgrounds. Canada is going through its second worst wildfire season on record. A Christian advocacy group is challenging the City of Hamilton and Mayor Andrea Horwath after the removal of a digital ad on the Lincoln-Alexander Parkway in Hamilton. In a social media post, the mayor says the billboard, which is on city lease property, was being removed, describing it as transphobic. A lawyer for the Association of Reformed Political Action, or ARPA Canada, says they're filing a court challenge, citing a violation of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
The advertisement does not violate any city policy. We're familiar with the Canadian Code of Advertising Standards. This advertisement is related to an important public policy issue, and it just does not amount to discrimination or anything else that would be a violation of the rules.
I think it's a shame, however, that ARPA would waste all of these resources in order to effectively try to codify hate. We do have freedom of expression in Canada, but that freedom of expression is not absolute.
CHCH News reached out to the mayor's office and to Astral Media, which runs the billboard, but has not received a response. Well, a celebration is coming up this weekend at Hamilton Stadium to mark its 10th birthday. Fans can book a time slot on Saturday to get free tickets to go on the field. There are 1-hour time slots starting at noon on Saturday, with the last spot opening up at 3 o'clock. There will be a variety of family-friendly fun for fans of all ages. That's your other workplace.
Yeah, that should be fun too.
Yeah.
Sportsline, the Blue Jays have become the first American League team to reach 70 wins.
Who hits a fly ball pretty well tagged to left field. Hap's going to turn and watch it go. How about Ernie Clement?
Yeah, Ernie Clement homered for the 3rd game in a row and 4th time in 5 games to power Toronto to a 5-1 win over the visiting Chicago Cubs. Jose Barrios allowed just 2 singles in 5 1/3 scoreless innings to boost his record to 9-4 in front of a season-high crowd of 43,003 fans. Dalton Varsho also went deep, and Vladimir Guerrero added 3 hits as the AL East leading Jays improved to 70-50 on the season and 23-11 against National League opponents. The Cubs have lost 5 of their last 7. They've scored just 6 runs in those 5 losses. Blue Jays president Mark Shapiro is not offering any details about a potential contract extension with the team, but says he wants to remain with the club and that the team ownership has been reciprocal in that desire.
I've never been a grass is greener guy. 24 years in one place in Cleveland and 10 years here now. So the appreciation for what I have and the people that I get to work with every day and the city that I work in and the country that I live in, those things are drivers for me to remain here.
The 59-year-old Shapiro, who also serves as the team's CEO, is in the final year of his contract. He's overseen several major projects in recent years, including significant renovations to Rogers Center and the team's player development complex in Florida. During Shapiro's 10-season tenure in TO, the Jays are 753 and 723. They've made the playoffs 4 times. The Guelph Royals erupted for 8 runs in the 6th inning and turned a 5-1 deficit to a 7-5 win over the Hamilton Cardinals last night. The go-ahead and insurance runs were scored on a passed ball on reliever Fernando Rodney's first pitch, dropping Hamilton's record to 19-20. Jaden Brown and Carlos Dominguez homered for the Cards. Forge FC hosts the Vancouver Whitecaps at 7 o'clock tonight in the first leg of their Canadian Championship semifinal. The Whitecaps will host the second leg on September 16th. The winner will advance to the Canadian Championship final on October 1st, and Forge captain Kyle Becker is looking forward to it.
Over the last 7 years, we've had a lot of these big games. We've played in finals before. We know what it's all about. So the atmosphere is going to be exciting. We're looking forward to it. Playing under the lights midweek, it's a cup game.
The other Can Champ semifinal between Atletico Ottawa and Vancouver FC also kicks off tonight in the capital. Canada blasted Switzerland 9-1 at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup in Czechia and Slovakia. Swiss goalie Janis Zambelli allowed just 1 goal on 32 shots in the first 2 periods. And then Canada scored 8 goals on just 13 shots in the third, including a hat-trick by Mathis Preston. Canada will look to improve to 3-0 in their final round-robin game this afternoon at 2.
Whoa, look at that. 12 minutes after 6 o'clock on the button. Here we go into this 13th morning of August. Fairly cloudy this morning, and the sun, of course, is sleeping in later and later. It's not even up yet. Checking traffic, 403 Waterdown Road, and once again, no problems right there. Everything's moving nicely here. To our MTO traffic cameras, starting in St. Catharines, QEW Martindale, all the way through Millen Road, Stony Creek to the 403 junction around Brant, looking good. East of Royal Windsor Drive, nothing. Same with Credit River. We do have a problem. Now, the reason I'm showing this at the 401 at Tompkin is because actually this is the ramp from the 403 express lanes going to the 401 eastbound express lanes. So it's kind of the ramp from the 403 right at the almost at the airport. We do have a collision of vehicle into the ditch there, as you can see. Emergency crews there. Let's get to our temperature as we're starting out the morning here. Temperature, yep, still on the warm side, sitting at 20, humidex 28 at the moment. Humidity is still right up there. The winds are light, southwest at 9. The sun isn't quite up yet, but that's the way it would be. Mostly cloudy skies so far today. And that heat warning is going to come to an end later on today. The cooler air is going to start to move in. So you'll notice a little bit fresher conditions, but the air quality is going to get poorer as the day goes on. It's in the low risk category this morning. It'll be in the moderate risk category later on. Look at the thunderstorms that rumbled through last night. You probably heard them throughout the overnight hours. Yes, we had showers, we had thunderstorms. Never mind what we had yesterday with those heavy downpours that went through. So that cold front, that blue line just represents the leading edge of the cooler air that's going to move across southern Ontario. You notice behind it the winds shift around, and that's going to bring in a little fresher conditions. It won't be quite as humid for the day tomorrow. It's still going to be warm, but it's not going to be quite as hot and humid. Today, again, will be in the 30s, humidex of 38, so fairly humid. Temperature 30, humidex, as I said, 38. Showers, thunderstorms possible. Tonight, temperature a little bit better, down to 19. Skies will start to clear, so that bodes well for tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to see some sun. It'll start out to be fairly sunny, and then a bit of cloud cloud cover, but temperature 28 for the day tomorrow. Humidex about 32, so a lot more comfortable for the day tomorrow. But out the door, 13th morning of August, it's mainly cloudy. Sun's not quite up, but temperature right now sitting at 20 with a Humidex of 28. Long range coming up. Annette, right.
Thank you, Brian. Coming up after the break, 2 federal ministers say they're disappointed with China's tariffs on our country's canola industry. Turning to business news this morning in overseas trading, our dollar is up 4 basis points to 72.63 cents U.S. Gold is up $8.40 an ounce, and crude is down 49 cents to $62.68 U.S. a barrel. In midday European trading, markets are up in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
In Asia, markets were up today across the board in Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Shanghai, with huge gains in Tokyo and Hong Kong. On North American markets, the TSX was up 146 points, the Dow up almost 490 points, and the NASDAQ up to 96.
Canada's international trade and agricultural ministers say they remain ready to engage in constructive dialogue with Chinese officials to address their respective trade concerns. The joint statement issued late last night says, in part, Canada is deeply disappointed with China's decision to implement provisional anti-dumping duties in its self-initiated investigation into imports of canola seed from Canada. We do not dump canola. The announcement comes after China set tariffs at nearly 76% on Canadian canola, following Ottawa's tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles, steel, and aluminum. Beijing has already hit Canadian canola meal and oil with 100% tariffs. China's latest move on canola seed now means all canola products face levies.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford is going to meet with the Prime Minister in Ottawa next week to push for tax cuts aimed at boosting the economy amid U.S. tariffs.
So Monday I'm going up to have a one-on-one meeting with the Prime Minister, and I've told him how I feel. We got to create the environment, and just a few things we can do can really change things. Number one, we're taxed to death. Simple as that. In Economics 101, put money into people's pockets. They're going to go out and spend it. As simple as going out for dinner, buying a pair of sneakers, buying jeans. That stimulates the economy.
At the start of the month, the Trump administration raised tariffs on Canadian goods that are not covered by CUSMA by 34%, or 35% rather. Premier Doug Ford wants matching retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods, although Prime Minister Mark Carney has not followed suit.
An RBC senior economist says the U.S. tariff rate on Canada is far than it appears. President Donald Trump raised blanket tariffs on Canadian goods to 35% this month, with exemptions for items meeting the Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade deal. But economist Claire Fan estimates the effective rate is closer to 6% today. She warns that even that number can understate the damage tariffs are causing to trade.
The United States has posted a record 273% hike in customs revenue over the past year, but the budget deficit is still up 20%. Tariff revenues have yet to offset federal spending in the states, driven by rising interest rate payments and public debt and by higher Social Security costs. While some in the states see tariffs as meaningful revenue, others believe they're only going to modestly reduce federal debt.
U.S. inflation held steady in July. The figures suggest that slowing rent increases and cheaper gas are offsetting some impacts of President Trump's sweeping tariffs. Many businesses are also absorbing much of the cost of the duties. Tuesday's figures likely include some impact from the 10% universal tariff Trump imposed in April, as well as higher duties on countries such as China and Canada.
The court's going to hear an appeal by Cineplex of a record fine it faces for deceptive marketing. The competition tribunal fined the theater chain $38.9 million last September over a $1.50 online booking fee. The Bureau says that fee misleads customers. They called it price stripping because the full cost isn't disclosed up front. Cineplex disputes that, saying the fee was clearly shown and could be avoided by buying tickets in person. The case is going to be heard in October. Cineplex is coming off a $2.2 million quarterly loss, even though its revenue jumped more than 30% from a year ago.
We're going to take a quick break. Brian is going to be back with traffic and your 7-day weather forecast. Good morning.
right, good morning. 6:24 on this Wednesday, the 13th of August. We're looking at progress here. Okay, they've pulled the vehicle out of the ditch. That's the white vehicle there. You can see the tracks coming out of the ditch. The tow truck is now getting it onto the shoulder of the road there onto the pavement. So we had a single vehicle problem with that vehicle into the ditch. So emergency crews. The reason I'm showing the 401 at Tompkin here is because that's actually the ramp from the 403 going to the eastbound 401 right there. So that's just about gone. Glendale looks good in St. Catharines, south end of the Skyway, all the way through Bronte Road, Erin Mills Parkway. No problems as far as the QEW is concerned. Temperature at the moment, Hamilton's temperature starting off the morning sitting at 20, still a humidex, 28 degrees, 21 Mississauga, 22 Toronto, 24 into Grimsby. So once again, seasonal temperatures for this time of year are 25 for the daytime high and 15 for the overnight low. So of course the heat's continuing. The heat warning continues, but it should come to an end later on today. Those are our sun times. Sun has just come up 3 minutes ago, and those are our records for today. No record today. We did set a record yesterday. Today, instability once again with that approaching cold front. So showers, thunderstorms are possible. A little bit of sun. Otherwise 30, feeling like 38. Down to 19 tomorrow. Tomorrow will be tonight. Tomorrow will be cooler. 28, feeling like 32. Mix of sun and clouds. And then sun Friday, Saturday, and the temperatures go back into the 30s, well, low 30s. And then that's when it really cools off is Sunday into Monday. 23 and showers, we'll take that. And then 22 and 24 Monday and Tuesday. That's your forecast. Annette, Rick.
Thanks, Brian. A new drug class that could lead to breakthroughs for fungal infections has been discovered at McMaster University.
So this image shows a fungal pathogen that's under attack by this new drug candidate, collapsing its cell walls. The discovery shows promise in fighting a type of fungi that can be lethal for patients who are undergoing chemotherapy because it can infect the lungs, bloodstream, and nervous system. These new molecules were isolated from a plant-dwelling fungus at the McMaster greenhouse. Researchers identified the new drug class through a process that they've also used to recently discover a new class of antibiotics. Several other new drug candidates are also being studied at McMaster. So far, the principal investigator on the fungal study says they've only screened about 5% of the chemical library that they've built at Mac. And he says, just imagine what else could come out of that.
That's really cool.
Very neat.
See, kids, there are fun guys in science.
Ah, yes.
Stay with us. More to come after the break. Plenty of fun guys.